and welcome to Baki Talki Season 3, Episode 5, Late Night Edition. Baki Talki After Dark. I don't want to wake my neighbors, so I'm speaking into my microphone as I hold it in my hands, so we'll have a nice sultry tone. And you can already hear my guest. It's the first ever 3-season guest. It's Vishal.
Wait, really?
Yeah,
Let's
we're only
go.
on episode 5 of the 3rd season.
Wait, you said, oh, I thought you meant like I was your first like three-peat. Is that what you meant, or did you mean?
Yeah. Well, no, you're not the first
Oh,
three-peat.
okay.
You're the
Oh,
first person to be in 3 different seasons. I've had a few people
hey, I'll
do
take that.
multiple. Yeah, congrats. So
What prize do I
Vishal,
get, Steve?
you get the prize that is this episode, which was amazing.
It was
Uh,
pretty good, yes.
Before we dive in, I have a question I like to ask all my returning guests. So let's imagine that we were casting a live action version of Baki. Um, so you're gonna have to cast. Let's see which character hasn't. If you had to cast one actor to play the mouth, and
Oh,
we'll get to this for listeners. Who would that actor be? And let's imagine that we can either use CGI or 2 guys who sort of look like him to be the rest.
right. Well, first of all, Zac Efron would be Baki. I don't know why, but I just need to point that. I just need to throw that out there. I feel
Yep.
like I'm not the biggest Zac Efron fan, but I feel like you just fit the role in a weird way. For the mouth, that's not what I was expecting you to ask. So that's quite the curveball.
I can tell. Apparently,
Oh,
apparently you came onto this podcast really wanting to talk about Zac Efron.
I might have just watched the YouTube video about him. Anyways,
Why am I feeling so wrong? My head's in the game, but my heart's in the song.
Elvis.
Elvis? Are we talking
Yeah,
about
chubby
Austin
Elvis.
Butler, or
No, like the Elvis, dude. I feel
okay.
like, oh yeah, if Elvis was to go into like start eating a bunch of protein to get to that, that regimen of just working out, I feel like Elvis would be a good pick. Because I
Yeah,
feel like Elvis
maybe
is
maybe if he
smooth,
wasn't
and these.
dead.
I thought you said but CGI. You said I could use CGI.
Well, I figured that like you have one real person and then the CGI is
Oh,
the
that's what you
3.
meant.
Oh my god, whatever.
Whatever. Star
We're
Wars.
not spending more time on this.
Star Wars literally had Princess Leia after. Okay, I forget her name. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on real quick.
So
Listen, everyone, I just got off work. Okay, I'm
yeah.
a little loopy.
Yeah, Vishal works as Elvis. He's one of those Elvis impersonators you can hire.
What I was really trying to say is that I want to be the mouth. That's what it all comes back to. Full circle.
All right, Vishal. So this episode, just let me know what you thought. Like, let's start at the beginning. What did you think of this episode as it started?
Well, the first episode I got to see none of Baki, the first podcast I did where I watched
Yep.
my first episode, which wasn't was hoping to see some Baki. Second episode I saw some Baki. That was during the tournament thing.
Yeah, that was back
Third
when he was
episode,
like rotting corpse of a man.
yeah, he's in his emo phase or something. I don't know what's going on there. This was some Baki. The first like 10, 15 minutes. This was some Baki. This is what I expected to see when I was watching Baki. There was that part. In the second half of the episode, some corrupt bullshit was going on.
That's just a little donation to the Arizona State Prison.
And the mouth. Honestly, that performance, that impressed me. I liked that. That was good.
Oh, I love the mouth. The mouth is the
Yeah.
mouth is. I often call things in Baki a thought experiment. The mouth is legitimately the mouth is a living hypothetical argument. But we'll get to him. So the episode
Yep.
starts off where we left last time with the old man talking to Baki in his cell. Baki has an amazing line. He says,
It's the age of bare hands.
Hey, editor Steve here. I just want to give some more context. So I'm going to play this clip like fully, just so you can see how we just get dropped into it.
It's the age of bare hands.
What is the age of bare hands, Vishal?
So what I gathered from the first scene, the first little bit of this episode, the old man was talking to Baki. Baki was saying how, or they're both just going back and forth about it. But if you have practice enough and have enough strength and enough, I don't know, willpower or whatnot, but basically bare hands can be anything in the world. We're talking like tanks, machine guns.
Yep.
I don't know what else, but if you master bare hands, you are invincible, is what I gathered.
Yeah, it's basically that. Our entire world is a facade where you think that the rich and powerful control armies and stuff, but if I knew martial arts, I could sneak in and kidnap the president, for example, like Baki did this season. It's this idea that
Wow.
yeah, that's why he's in jail.
Well, which president are we on?
Bush.
Current U.S. President George Bush.
Oh, we're on Bush. Got it.
Yeah. So Baki kidnapped Bush. And then Che Guevara, we learned about in the last episode, basically trained an entire army of guys who refused to use weapons, but also infiltrated every nuclear power plant in the country. So it's this new age where having a gun is useless, and everybody knows karate.
That's pretty. I mean, there's a lot of potential in that for this show.
That's
what I'll say.
And, I agree. I think that there's limitless potential. And I found it so interesting that we then pivot and then talk about how our global GPS systems have been brought into this. Can you please explain what the satellites in the year 2000 were being used for?
So apparently these NASA type satellites were being used for, and honestly, I'm on board with this theory because this shit used to happen to me all the time. But apparently these satellites were used to basically keep an eye on and scan in with the highest resolution, the most dangerous martial arts, karate. I don't know what you want to call it. But basically, three men who were
the three baddest dudes in America.
Yeah, basically the three baddest dudes who were Hujiro Hanma, which is Baki's dad, right?
Yujiro, but yeah.
Hujiro. The Biscuit Oliver.
Mm-hmm.
The Unchained.
Mr. Unchained, yeah.
Mr. Unchained. Would you say is Che Guevara?
Well, his actual name
June?
is June Guevara because he's Japanese, but he Americanized it to Che Guevara.
And because of these guys, the resources these satellites need to put on these three guys, apparently GPSs, I guess, on cell phones like Google Maps or whatnot, there's not enough processing power for the average civilian.
Yeah,
because it's being taken up. Yeah.
Yeah. How it works is normally everybody can use GPS, but if, for example, Mr. Oliver starts running around, if he ever goes above a brisk walk, all of the cameras in like the Western Hemisphere will start targeting him directly, and your GPS will be bad.
Man-made satellites are typically only used for military matters. However, several are dedicated to monitoring the movements of just those three men. But if any of them begin to move more quickly than 2.5 miles an hour, an entirely different protocol kicks into place. Over half of all satellites are immediately put into emergency mode and redirected to follow the target's movement. As a result of that, it's said that the GPS systems that use those satellites can have their accuracy offset by up to 200 feet.
It's so great. It's so great. And like, here, the funniest thing about this is like, two of these guys, Biscuit Oliver and Che Guevara, live in prison. Like, they don't go anywhere. I know Oliver is like free to leave when he wants, but a lot of the time these cameras are pointed at the same place. Anyway.
So what happens if they decide to take a jog in their cell?
Who
They just
would ever do that? Take a jog in your cell?
well, I don't know. What do you think he wants to? Maybe he wants to get like, I don't know, keep his physical fitness at peak, and the camera's got to zoom in on him.
But what is that? What is the cell is probably like 6 feet long. Like, how can you jog in there?
I don't
Like in
just
circles?
In a circle, yeah, in a circle. That's what I meant. Yeah, I don't know. It's actually that was dumb.
No, it's also interesting because like the GPS doesn't work on like any like tracking beacons. Like I'm just realizing like it has no idea where they are because there's a roof over their head, so you wouldn't even pick it up.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, it's fun because that's just little world building that I don't think really means anything. Anyway,
But it's there.
Yeah. It honestly feels like what you were talking about, how everybody's been there where the GPS gets bad, and the guy was just like, what if my OC caused this? what if Yujiro was so strong that he broke my GPS in my car?
Yeah.
I love it though.
Oh,
it's one of my favorite parts of the season. And I like it because it establishes that, like, you know, Yujiro is obviously number one, but it really paints the stakes for this season that Biscuit Oliver and Jay Guevara are seen as the like top three. Like, this is the podium of the world, basically.
Is Drew Guevara also known as number two because he's not Hajiro Hanma? Is that why his nickname's number two?
You're getting farther away. Yujiro Hanma. He's called number two because he's seen as the second Oliver. Like, he will be the next Mr. Oliver.
Got it. So he's number three.
Yeah, funnily enough.
Okay,
Mr. Number two is actually number three.
He's number three. Nice. That's good.
Afterwards, we get a fun little scene where a guard comes over and tries to beat up a little old man before Baki makes fun of him for being bald.
To be taking a long time in here, old man. It's only because this guy was refusing to eat his food, so I was giving him a warning. You're the one who's gonna get punished. Abusing an old man isn't gonna get any hair to grow back on that bald head of yours.
What did you think of this exchange?
So I love this because, as I was saying before, Baki didn't really. It's not what I wanted to see from Baki watching my two previous episodes, and this third one, Baki had the Riz. He turned it on as soon as the guard attacked the old man. Baki turned on the Riz and just kicked him right in the face. Knocked him backwards. Oh baby, that was a good kick.
Immediately dislocated both of his shoulders. Yeah, it was fun.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of that, the guard is sent careening over the rails to his death, but Baki saves him. And we get some nice dialogue where Jay Guevara says,
Nothing. You'll get nothing in return for helping him, you know. I mean, he is an American after all.
Yeah, what is that? Do I need context for that, or is that just literally because he's American, just straight up racist?
Racist against Americans, the worst type of racism.
Well, you know what I mean. Like, was there another encounter with this guard and Jay Guevara, or is it just?
No, it's Jay Guevara. Jay Guevara doesn't like Americans. Jay Guevara, I don't know if you caught on to it, but like, he's a play on Che Guevara, who was a real life like Cuban revolutionary.
Wait, I thought Jay Guevara was Japanese.
Well, that's what I mean. Che Guevara was a real life Cuban revolutionary. Che Guevara is a guy who looks exactly like him, but he's Japanese.
Got it. Okay.
And he hates America because it's full of capitalists who ruined his island nation that has no name. He's a pirate president. We went into his lore last episode, so we're not going to do that again.
Yeah, that's fine. What's with the thumb? They look like you know the top of pop cans with like the tabs.
Yeah, yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I'm talking about? Why does Baki have like thumb cuffs that look like just two like pop can tabs put together?
I think it's supposed to be cooler than regular handcuffs. You know, like he's because originally his hands were stuck behind his head. I don't know.
Okay.
I think it's just like
I,
established that Baki would be able to break regular handcuffs, so you use this one, so you think maybe he can't.
I mean, okay, yeah, all right.
And I think that when he puts on the handcuffs, he sort of has to show off the guns, and I think that's sort of why he's doing it.
Got it.
Yeah. So afterwards, we get a nice scene out in the yard. Baki is hitting metal poles into the ground to build a road. I'm gonna assume that's something you have to do to build a road. I didn't really understand why they
They
did
look like
that.
they look like cinder blocks. I wasn't really sure what they were like hammering into the earth.
And it's also like,
But yeah,
why do you need a road there? There's already a road to the prison. Do you need two roads into the prison?
yeah, right.
But Baki's doing pretty well. He can do it in 2 hits. Most people it takes 6 hits. But our good friend Iron Michael can do it in 3 hits. Almost as impressive as Baki. So first question, do you know who Iron Michael is?
I feel like I've heard the name, but I'm not familiar with who Iron Michael is. If he's like a real character, or sorry, like a real person that lived before.
Yeah,
Like,
he's basically Mike Tyson.
oh, he's Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
Oh, where did Mike Tyson have the iron before his, like, was that his thing, or is it just like
I feel like it is. They play it pretty fast and loose with Muhammad Ali was in the whole last season.
Yeah.
We talk about Sonny Liston in this episode. Like every real fighter is in Baki, in some form or another. So Iron Michael is going to be released from jail.
Hey, Iron Michael. Heard you're getting out next month.
He's turned his life around and now he wants to go back to boxing. However, the warden, being a stereotypically corrupt warden, does not want this to happen. What is his plan, Vishal?
Sorry, was it who was the warden? Was it the white guy that came into the office, or was it the other guy?
I think it was the white guy behind the desk. Then there was the black guy who kept being like, "You can't take Mike Tyson. He's the champ."
Wait, are you talking about Iron Michael? I mean, he was the heavyweight champion, for Pete's sake.
Iron Michael's as strong as
Got
10
it.
men. That was just a guy who works there.
So I don't know his name, but the white man. I think he was wearing a white tux or whatnot, but
The white man.
the white man. Yeah, he came in with that check for like 200K,
Yeah.
basically bribing
Bribing
the other guy.
warden.
Yeah, the warden. And because of apparently the 60s, apparently because of box office sales that a previous blah, 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 blah. Sorry, what was his name again?
When Sonny
Sonny
Liston
Liston. Sonny
was-
Liston.
Yeah.
Yep.
When he was the champ, he had learned to box in jail, and apparently ticket sales plummeted, having him
Yep.
as the champ.
Yeah, and that was the reasoning for the white man to bribe the warden, basically to get rid of him before he leaves jail in a month
Yeah.
and goes for the belt.
And the white man represents, I believe, the International Boxing Commission or something like that.
Right.
Also, I just want to point out, like, they touch on it briefly that Sonny Liston apparently was box office poison, and they had to wait for Cassius Clay to come and save the industry of boxing. Cassius Clay, famous prisoner, who like went to jail during as a part of his protest against the Vietnam War. I don't know how many times I'm going to get this wrong on this podcast, but Muhammad Ali did not spend time in jail. He was sentenced to 5 years, but he never actually spent any time there. how do you fight Mike Tyson if you are a warden? What do you do?
I mean, my first approach, well, I would do it. I would talk to Baki first. Obviously, I don't know the story of Baki in this in the first 5 episodes of Baki Hanma, but if that fails, I mean, what you gotta do is you gotta bring in a third party to get the job
A
done.
third party. What a great way to describe the mouth.
Oh my God, you're right. I'm such a genius. You got that one for free, Steve.
Perfect. So the mouth is 3 people. It's easy to remember their names if you were ever in theater, and you had to do the tip of the tongue, the teeth, the lips, because their names are the tooth, the tongue, and the lips. Now their name, I'm gonna play the audio from the clip because I feel like the author really was struggling to come up with like examples of trios working together. But these are the ones that he came up with.
Like how water, steam, and pistons make up a steam engine. Or the horse, whip, and jockey in horse racing. Or the sun, water, and atmosphere on Earth.
Water, steam, which is different from the water, and a piston that work in a steam engine. A horse, a whip, and a jockey for racing. And sun, the water, and atmosphere. I believe the Earth is that one. But none of them are as impressive as the 3-part combo of the tongue, the teeth, and the lips, which make up the mouth.
Among the many different combinations that exist all over this world, the smoothest and most magnificent combination, the strongest combination of all, the true king of combinations, is how the lips, teeth, and tongue work together.
Vishal, did you enjoy getting a 2-minute monologue on how your mouth works?
I almost feel like those first 3 analogies were set up to be so poor that it made like eating the salmon, the third one, like so much better. Because honestly, I love that. That was so funny. I was dying.
I knew it was gonna be good when it just said, like, let's use a simple example. Like,
To understand the combination of the lips, teeth, and tongue, perhaps it's easiest to use an example that anyone can imagine, such as eating a piece of fish.
Yeah. But like the weirdest part is that it honestly, it kind of made sense and it kind of worked.
First, one puts the fish in their mouth.
I don't know if I'm stretching for that, but I honestly feel like the way your mouth, like eating the salmon, chewing it, and then like spitting out the bone onto your lips, like it just,
and
I don't know, it made sense. Yeah, it was hilarious. I love that.
No, I agree. I think it's a great metaphor, and it's a great name for these guys. So these guys are basically, just to picture them, like they are the buff version of Huey, Dewey, and Louie. Like they are 3 identical triplets who finish each other's sentences.
We're to do it. I think we ought to do it tonight.
They all look exactly. I already said they're identical triplets, but and they all work as guards at the prison. And the fun thing is, like, it's Baki. They're jacked, they're buff, but like they're not that impressive looking. Like they just sort of look like 3 regular prison guards. I don't know. Did you get that vibe that like they just sort of look like 3 regular dudes?
Yeah, they look like Elvis, Steve.
Of course.
Actually, no, I wasn't even thinking about that because I was actually like impressed by like, I don't know if it was like, it must have been like editing for the voice lines, but them talking in unison, like in a complete sentences, like at a normal speed, was like, that was a treat.
I think they might have scripted that scene, which would help with that.
Okay, what bothered me, what really bothered me was that the warden was trying to, he was like asking them, can you guys like, can one of you just like speak instead of like all 3 of you are like making my brain explode. And they were like, they basically said no. They just like said like 6 different words in like out of order to basically just say no to him.
Well, then should we just talk one at a time instead? No, I'm pretty sure that it'll be more confusing. If I say you and B, and I say seem and quite,
And I say too and well.
I imagine speaking that way would take too long to decode. So then, you seem to be
Well.
But then shortly, like after, literally one guy just starts speaking on his own
I
for
know.
the three of them.
Yeah, it was like, yeah, it was like the author realized that this was getting annoying to read. Let's try this out, Vishal. I'm gonna be one of them, and you be the other.
No! All right. Just, are you starting, or you want me to start?
You start.
I
am
good
to
do
this
right
now.
Your
My
favorite
dog.
Thank you.
You fucked it up.
I'm sorry. We weren't even going that fast though. But
No,
thank you for calling me your favorite dog.
No problem. Don't worry. I'll edit it so like we're overlapping each other. Like it'll sound really impressive.
That'll be good. Do like the before and after. I feel like people would like that. Do the OG and then just like speed it up. Like do like, okay, well here's the edited version. That'll be good. I am good to do
this
right
now.
Your
my
favorite
dog. Yeah, so that takes us into sort of the final act of the episode. The mouth is walking over to the yard where they're going to beat the shit out of Iron Michael. But we get a nice little conversation where the one guard who's sort of a fan of Iron Michael, and I don't know why he's there, maybe just to witness it. He asks the mouth, like, how are you guys gonna beat up Iron Michael? This is the world heavyweight champ. And this is where we get into the sort of philosophy of the mouth. So what's the mouth's gimmick, Vishal?
So basically, the trio was saying that if they're fighting an opponent, basically one person equals one person, and a person can equal more than one person in terms of combat. Sorry, but
this
one
is
person.
My political party, like one person equals one person.
Yeah, take that to court, dude. One person. No, I mean that's what they were saying. One person can equal more than one person in terms of like combat prowess.
2.5. Well, maybe 3.0 to 3.2 at the very most.
That's what I was thinking too.
You'd expect nothing less than 3.2 from him.
But if you have three people and they're somewhat strong, three people are still always better than one person, or 2.4 persons, or 4.0 persons, whatever they were saying. I was not following. They brought in math, and I was like, I can't do this right now.
Here's the thing. This isn't really something that can be easily explained with words.
They love to use numbers like that. Yeah, like this man is worth 3.2 men. But that was the funniest thing. They kept saying that Mike Tyson was 3.2 times the average guy, and I'm like, well, you guys are fucked. There's only 3 of you. But yeah, no, it's the fun point. It's the idea that an incredible fighter, maybe he's 2 times stronger than an average person, and he'll beat that average person 10 times out of 10. But even that guy will still lose if you just throw 3 dudes at him. It makes... Sorry.
There is, unfortunately, there is logic to kind of support this, but not for the right reasons. I feel like you just... I don't know. I can't... It's too much. I was like, no way they're really doing this right now, but...
Well, it's one of those things that this show has never really believed. Like, hey, editor Steve here. I just wanted to go on a tangent and flesh out what I'd said in the original recording, which was sort of wrong. I was going to bring up in season 1. So Dorian, if we all remember, got driven by the million members of Shinshinkai to the amusement park. And I was originally going to argue that sort of didn't line up with this, but it does, because Dorian, this mountain of a man who should be able to literally eat his opponents one by one, seemed scared of having to fight all of these fighters at once. There was much more than 3 of them. And then I was thinking back, and I realized that this is tied to, I believe, the first like chapters in the first part of the first episode of the original Baki anime. Anyway, Baki single-handedly fights 100 dudes at the same time, and even then, Baki is unable to beat them all. He's like a 13-year-old at this point. He's a lot weaker than he is now. But it seems like this has been something that I think has been very core to the author's viewpoint on martial arts, is like there is a limit to martial arts capabilities when you're up against multiple groups of people. Anyway.
Yeah. Okay, well, yeah, then at the same time, the logic makes no sense. I mean, none of it ever made sense to begin with. I don't know why I'm trying to support this at all. I do. Maybe it's because I actually just like the mouth as a concept.
Yeah,
It's pretty cool.
I like the mouth. Basically, the rest of the episode is just we get a fair amount of fighting in this. The mouth is just beating the shit out of Mike Tyson and just doing things like snapping so he looks one way and then two other guys kick him in the head, or just like running around.
One of them was running away, and I was like, what's happening right now?
It's such a fun fight though, and it's there's that one guy watching to be like, the king is crumbling. No, not Iron Michael.
The king is crumbling. How is this happening? How could this possibly be happening? To kick Iron Michael, one of boxing's greatest champions, right in the face? Legendary boxer who set the whole world abuzz. Another kick in the face.
And then the episode sort of comes to an end with Mike Tyson running to a corner and squaring up, which I thought was a great idea. Do you think it's going to work out for him?
I feel like it will, because I feel like, I don't know if I'm just like being meta about this, but I feel like the mouth got their digs in, so I feel like next episode you'll see Mike Tyson or Iron Mike or whatever just pop off and beat the shit out of the three of them with some cool strat. But I mean, I don't know my Baki that well. I'm not well versed in Baki, so I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm rooting for I love the mouth, but I'm rooting for our boy Michael.
Yeah, Iron Michael, he's got so much to live for outside of prison. So that's yeah. Next episode, the fight continues and it goes in a wonderful new direction. Can't wait to talk about it with next week's guest. But yeah, what did you think of the episode overall, Vishal? Do you think the show's getting better?
Honestly, I got to see my Baki, and the mouth was actually really cool. Just really cool. I'll give it out of 10. I'll give it a solid. I'll give it a 9. 9 out of 10. That was a good episode. I actually kind of want to watch the next episode just to know how the fight goes.
Yeah, you should.
I like new Baki. I don't know what happened with my other Bakis in the last series and whatnot, but this new Baki, he's cool.
This Baki's a man now.
Yeah, Baki's a man now. He wasn't a man before. He's a man now.
Yeah.
He's just chilling in prison. I don't know why he's in prison, but he's there.
He kidnapped the president.
Oh, well, okay. Well, I mean, yeah, I guess, but like, I don't know. It's Baki. He could have done anything to be thrown in prison.
Not an American prison. when you live in Japan.
Oh, yeah. I didn't really put it together that they were in America. Oh, that's my bad.
No, that's fair. Not everybody knows the famous Black Pentagon, the Arizona State Penitentiary.
They never once mentioned the Pentagon.
Yeah, no. They didn't in this episode, but most of the other ones. It's the idea that there's the white Pentagon, which is the one everybody calls the Pentagon. But then an equally important building is the Arizona State Prison, known as the Black Pentagon. Uh, but that's a topic for another day.
Right.
All right. Well, Vishal, thank you so much for coming on to Baki Talki After Dark, episode 1, I guess.
Is this your first episode that was this late?
Oh yeah, no, I try and avoid these type of things because sometimes I get a bit loopy or yawning.
Maybe After Dark's maybe that'll be the new thing. You do the regular podcast and you do the actual After Dark one. We get loopy, start yawning.
I think that's what I've realized. The fans are just asking out more content. Yeah, we need to listen more than once a week. No. Do you have any questions for the fans? I'm trying to do question and answer stuff nowadays.
Questions to the fans?
Yeah.
I
asked last week who I should bring back on the show. You weren't one of the choices, unfortunately.
But you asked that last week, and I'm the one on the show right now. I feel like that's messed up.
It's because I schedule so far in advance.
I see. It was Catherine, was it?
Christian, who I'll try and get on soon.
Christian.
Yeah.
He's an okay guy. He's not me, but he's a guy. But questions for the fans. I'm honestly just more curious as to when how many times do you get triggered of like as a Baki fan? I assume these people watching this are Baki fans. How often do you get triggered when I say a name incorrect or like misinterpret something, like a scene or something, or that, you know what I mean? Just the stuff like that.
You just need to count how many times you tried to say Yujiro Hanma, and we'll probably get it.
All right.
For this episode.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
All right, I'll add that as a question on Spotify. All right. Well, thank you, Vishal, for coming on. That's all the Baki we've got to talkie. So I'll see you all next week.
Bye-bye.
Friday.